This is our next main goal with HTML and CSS. And what it is it's the @media query. And the @media is very similar to the @font face. What it does is it allows us to change major components of HTML, like the font or the H1 tags. In this case, we're going to do the image. We're going to change the image per screen size. Now these numbers here, 600, 900, and 1000, they should be congruent with the number of pixels of your image. However, my screen size is a little bit smaller, so I had to adjust these to fit my resolution. So if I go to test this in Firefox, this is what the design should look like at full scale on a desktop computer. This is my splash page that my eBlast should take me to. So what we have here is a very simple layout with a little form in here with a submit button and some other hyperlinks over here in the corner. So if I make my size of my screen smaller, notice it will change. So here's the other layout. So here's the desktop, here's the tablet, and if I make my screen smaller, it will change it to the phone size. So there's three layouts here. I want you guys to see this. So this is what your layout should look like. This is your desktop, this is your tablet, and this is your phone layout. So you should have three layouts. You should have your layout saved into a folder. So if you look at your folder, you should have the JPEGs of each resolution, and I saved PSD files of every layout, so that way if I need to alter one, I can just go back and change one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into Dreamweaver and we're going to write this code into our HTML page. And it's pretty simple. It might look like a lot of text right now, but it's very repetitive. And once we write one, we can just copy and paste the others. If you notice my body copy here, the only thing I have in my body is one image div tag. One div tag with an image. And that image is actually being pulled in through the background image declaration, and it's using this background image property with this URL to the actual picture. So let's try this and see what we can do. Alright, so to start from the top, you need to go to File, New, and you need to open a brand new HTML5 document. Here is where we're going to write our code inside of our head tag. Okay, and the very first thing we're going to start off with is actually the image selector. It starts with a pound, and it's be called image. And if you notice that my text is black, that's because I need to wrap this in a style tag. You see, once I write the style, it actually turns to the pink color. Okay, so the only thing we have to put in here for right now is the background hyphen image. Alright, it's the only thing we really need to put in here. If you notice my code here, the only one I put in here was background hyphen image, and then the URL to the splash picture. And then there's no background repeat. Okay, so from here, URL, and then this is the name of your actual file. So if you know the name of your file, you could just write it out here. If not, you can actually delete these. You can control click and choose code hint tools and go to URL browser, and then this will actually allow you to choose whatever picture you need. Okay, so if it pops up like this, the next thing I have to do is I'm going to save this. So I'm going to say File, Save. And I'll go ahead and save this in the same directory where I have all of my pictures saved. Okay. And the next one here we're going to write, maybe I should spell background correctly, is the background hyphen repeat. Okay, we want this to none. Alright, so if you have background repeat, we want no repeat. Okay, so this is really simple. It's just an image selector, and if I come down here in the body tag, the only thing I have to write here is a div, a div tag, with an ID which is equaling to the name of image. And of course, this is a tag pair, so I need to close my tag. So if I save this, here, it should pop up here. So I have my background, and here we go. So now, if you're wondering, if I go to look at this, it doesn't show. And the reason why it doesn't show is actually because we need to type in here a width and a height. So a width, and of course this is 10. This is actually 1440, and the other one's the height, which is 960. So if you look at this in Firefox now, our image shows up at that scale. And there we go. So that's our 1440 image. Our 1440 image is inside of here, and it's coming in through this CSS and this div tag. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do actually is we're going to write the overwriting code that will override this up here. Because remember how CSS styles work, they start at the top and they kind of trickle down, and whatever's on the bottom will overwrite the top. So if you note this code over here, I have the @media query, and we're going to be overwriting the top. Note that there's no width and height here. We're actually going to remove it from here and add it back here, and then we'll be good to go. Okay? So if you guys are trying to write this as I go along, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this underneath here so you guys can see it. And then I'll explain how it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this width and height. Okay, because I don't want anything there yet. I'm going to say @media only for the screen with a maximum width of 600 pixels. Alright, remember this is changed because of my resolution. And then all I have to do in here is literally copy and paste this and add it to here. And all I have to do is change my width and my height. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this, paste it into here, and add the width, which on this phone here is 320. So it's 320 pixels with a height here of 480 pixels. And then I'm going to change this reference to the JPEG to 320 because that's the name of the file. Okay? I'll go ahead and delete this. I don't need that anymore. So watch how simple this is from here, guys. All I have to do is copy this and paste it. Change my size here. I'm actually going to change the size of this to 900. And this will be my 1024. And this will be 1024 by 768. Because that's the size of my screen. Alright, so I'm actually going to change this though where it says max. I'm going to change this to min, M-I-N. And the reason why I'm changing that to min is because if I have a minimum width of 900, I want to show this picture. If I have a maximum width of 600, I want to show the phone. Okay, so I'm going to copy all of this and paste it underneath, and then just change this to, let's say, 1000, so it's just a little bit bigger, and this should be the 1440 picture with a width of 1440 by 960. So if I look at this now, I have my image here, at the very top in its own CSS rule. I have 3 @media queries, 1, 2, and 3. That's going to change it for all 3 of my layouts. So let's go ahead and take a look at this in the Firefox. So here is my desktop version. If I make it smaller, that is my tablet version. You see how it pops right there. Layout changes. And if I even go smaller, there's my phone. Okay, so that is the lab and that is the lecture. I want you guys to try to apply this to a brand new HTML document. Remember, what you have to do is you have to go to Photoshop and you're going to have to save each one of your layouts as a JPEG. So if you go look at your files, you should have your folder with your splash page images saved. You're going to have an HTML file for your actual image lab that you're going to need to put all in the same folder. So that way when you go to write your code, you'll be able to reference this URL, and this URL of course is the name of your file. We have one div tag named image, we have one CSS selector called image, and we're using 3 @media queries to overwrite the actual image and display the correct JPEG. Alright, so once again, this is the outcome. We have the phone, we have the tablet, and then we have the desktop. So you should have 3 layouts changing to the size of your screen. Now if you guys need help beyond this video, there is a website called Smashing Magazine. And Smashing Magazine has an article called CSS Responsive Design, which you can take a look at and you can read through this, and it gives you step-by-step examples of how to actually apply this. Alright guys, thanks for watching and have a great day, and we'll see you Wednesday.